right, when it comes to meta ads, there are a lot of people in the high ticket space that are talking about their campaign structures. Like you have to have 30 unique ad creatives, put them into one ABO campaign. You're going to scale the shit out of that, optimize for cost per result. Once the cost per result tanks, you're going to deal with ad fatigue, right? So you have to upload more creatives and then you're going to duplicate that ad set, all of that stuff. Please stop. If you're doing that, you have to stop, okay? I did the exact same for a couple of months, and to be fair, it worked out for a couple of months, but there is going to be a point where it's only going to go downhill, okay? Only downhill. The whole campaign structure that you're hearing all the time, it's designed to fail at some point. And today I'm going to explain exactly how that happens and what you should do instead. Okay, so as you can see right here, we've made multiple seven figures in high ticket sales for our clients. So we know a thing or two about meta ads and high ticket funnels. And this was the exact campaign structure that we were running for a very long time, right? Creative diversity, Andromeda, you have to have a wide range of ad creators with different themes, messages, and visuals. So we just bump 30 ad creators into one ad set, all with different angles, all optimizing for the best cost per result. This is a big problem, okay? This is a very big problem. So what we're running instead, I'm gonna explain exactly why this is a big problem, by the way. But first, let me explain what campaign setup we're running right now, why that works. I'm gonna justify every single point that I say with actual meta articles, okay? And then I'm gonna show how meta works. Actually, I'm also gonna show why ad fatigue is just like, it's not real. It's an issue on the marketer side, on my end, on your end, whoever is running your marketing. Ad fatigue is going to be their problem, right? And yeah, I'm going to show exactly what to do instead and why. Okay, so first of all, instead of this, what we're running right now is a much more simple ad campaign setup, which is also better for you because you don't have millions of ads to film and produce, right? So we're running one CBO campaign with one control ad set and 5 to 8 unique ads within that ad set, okay? Obviously, when we are testing, I'm gonna get into creative testing as well and scaling. We're gonna have multiple test ad sets in that ad campaign as well, but this is the main idea, basically. One CBO ad set campaign. Why CBO? Simply because we're not smarter than Meta. They're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars on their algorithms to make your ads perform better. We are not smarter than them. So just let them do their thing. Don't do ABO, just do CBO and let Meta allocate the spend throughout your campaign. Okay, and then why do we have one control ad set with 5 to 8 unique ads? Okay, this is going to be a broad ad set, by the way, simply because, targeting is controlled by messaging nowadays, as you know, right? I'm going to get into that in a second. 5 to 8 unique ads. With each and every one of those ads is going to have a different purpose, not just different angles, right? But a fundamentally different purpose. Why? Because your ads have to be a team that works together, right? It's like your ad campaign is a funnel in and of itself. You have a top of the funnel where you're going to educate people on the problem that you're trying to fix. Then you also have a middle of funnel where you're basically educating them further on your mechanism and why it actually solves that problem that you just made them aware of. And then you're going to have bottom of funnel ads, and these are actually optimizing for conversions and cost per results. Okay, so you don't only have 30 unique ad creatives with different angles, right? You have this where each and every one of those ads is like competing with each other to get the best cost per result. Here, you have a team of ads that work together. Why is that the case? There is something called sequence learning, okay? So this is directly from Meta. You can check it out yourself. So basically what it says is they're not going to see one ad and immediately convert, right? And you don't want to like have 30 unique angles with 30 unique direct response ads. No, you don't want to do that because how Meta works is it works as a sequence, right? So they're going to see one ad, right? And then Meta is going to see, okay, what happened with the person that saw the ad? Did they engage with it, right? Did they do whatever? Like they're going to have an impression. And based on that, they're going to analyze the other ads that you give them, right? And they're going to try and show them the next ad, right? Like basically the whole goal is to create a sequence of ads to show their prospects to in order to push them further down the funnel, closer to the conversion goal that you're optimizing for in the campaign. Right? Again, they're not just going to see one ad. They might see the ad and then they go ahead and check out your website. They do their own research and then they see a second ad and then they see the third ad, which is your straight offer ad. Then they convert, right? Meta's trying to find the best sequence of ads to show to your prospects. And that's also a big problem with this campaign setup, because not only are you hoping to get lucky because like you're uploading 30 unique angles and random angles and hoping to like let Meta decide which one of those angles is going to get you the best cost per result, and then you have no idea why that angle actually worked, right? I'm gonna like with this setup you're gonna know exactly what to test for. We're gonna get into testing in a second. That's one thing. Second of all, you mess up your sequence learning, right? Meta, like with 30 creatives, okay, 30 creatives and different headlines, primary text and all of that stuff, you give Meta literally millions of possible sequences that it has to find the combination to show your prospects to, right? You give them millions of possible sequences. That's just too complicated. They're not going to understand, okay, which is the best ad to show them next. It's just too much. You don't have enough ad spend to actually go ahead with this campaign setup, okay? And also ad fatigue. with this setup right here, when you're optimizing for 30 unique ads and all are optimizing for the best cost per result, obviously you are going to deal with ad fatigue, but ad fatigue is not really real. That's why I'm going to explain to you why that happens and why your ads stop performing at some point, right? Because all of those ads, the people that are going to convert from your ads, from direct response ads, are people that are more at the bottom of your funnel. They're more aware of your product, of your service, of your company, whatever. They're already aware. That's why they go ahead and book a call, right? But basically, you're with this setup where you have 30 unique ads, you're going to give Meta all of these ads, and they're all going to go after the same people, after that same pool of more aware people. If you have 30 unique ads that are all optimizing for the best cost per result, all of these ads are going to go after that same pool of people, and none of the ads are actually going to attract new people and make them aware of your company and add more people into that pool of more aware people. Does that make sense? Right? So you're basically taking away from that pool. The pool gets shrinks and shrinks. It doesn't grow. At some point, it's gonna stop working, right? When you're starting out with it, obviously you're already gonna have a pool of people that are already engaging with your organic. They checked out your website, whatever. That's why it's gonna work well for a couple of weeks or months, depending on how many aware people you have within your ecosystem, right? But after a couple of months, when all of these ads are basically going after the same people, that pool shrinks, right? The ads get pushed to more colder audiences. That's why the performance drops, because the colder audiences, they're not going to resonate with that bottom of funnel direct response messaging, right? They're not going to resonate with it. That's why your cost per result is going to go up, right? And you think, okay, shit, that's ad fatigue. I have to upload more ads. So you're basically uploading even more ads into the system. More ads are also going to, after this, they're all optimizing for the best cost per result because you're trying to get the cost per result down again. These ads are, again, going after the more aware people. The pool keeps shrinking. You're making the problem worse, right? The pool keeps shrinking, right? So your ad fatigue happens faster. So you upload even more ads. More ads are going to make the whole thing shrink even faster. You're going to have faster ad fatigue. You're going to need more and more ads. It's just not going to work at some point. Okay, that's why you don't want this whole setup right here, okay, with 30 ads and all of that stuff. And you also this is also with this, by the way, it's impossible to actually do proper creative testing because you're hoping and praying. If you duplicate the ads and then upload more ads, you're hoping and praying that those new ads are actually going to work. You have no idea why they work. It's a mess. Okay, that's why we go with this type of funnel where you have a couple of ads. Right, you have 5 to 8 ads, not too many, right? And they're basically going to have, each and every one of those ads is going to have a purpose, basically. A couple of those ads are going to get attention, right? A couple of those ads are going to educate them further. And then you have a couple of bottom of funnel ads where then, yes, your ads are going to go and convert the people. If you have this setup, you're going to grow your pool of more aware people. Your bottom of funnel ads are going to have continuously have more people they can convert. That's why you're not going to struggle with much ad fatigue issues, right? But Hike, what about creative diversity, right? Meta talks about creative diversity. Everybody talks about it. Andromeda update and all of that stuff. As you can see right here, creative diversity refers to the practice of creating a wide range of ad creatives with different themes, messages, and visuals to cater to diverse audience segments, right? We want a wide range of ad creatives with different themes, messages, and visuals. Usually what that means is you want to have different formats and different concepts and angles, right? You can still do that with this campaign setup. Just make it much more easy for Meta to go ahead and find the best sequence for you, right? So what we do is each and every one of those 5 to 8 ads, right? Each and every one of those 5 to 8 ads is going to have multiple creatives within it, okay? Let me explain what that means. So as you know, basically, you can have one ad and you can upload multiple creatives into that one ad, right? It was called flexible ad. Now you can just select multiple ads within your ad level, right? And each and every one of those ads is going to have a different concept, right? Let me how you actually reach creative diversity is by diversifying your concept. So concept basically means angle, right? As you can see right here, people shop for the same product for different reasons, right? You want to have different angles, different reasons for people to go ahead and engage with your company, right? And also diversifying by format. For example, you can have videos, you can have static ads. Within the videos, you obviously have different formats of videos. For example, talking head videos, whiteboard videos, right? There are different formats that you can use. This is how you reach creative diversity. And we still do that because even though we only have 5 to 8 ads, every one of those ads is going to have 3, for example, 2, whatever. It's not like a set number, right? But 2 to 3 different concepts within it, right? Let me give you an example for a top of funnel awareness ad, right? Where we want to grow our pool of more aware people. That's why we have top of funnel ads where we sacrifice cost per result, but we grow it, right? We get people into our funnel, into our ecosystem. An example for that could be, let's say we have a standing desk, okay, the desk, right? I'm also going to get into high ticket offer example, but just to make it super, super clear, if you're selling a standing desk, right, a top of funnel ad could have multiple angles that you can go with to make the people aware of the problem that they have or the opportunity, right? So one angle or concept could, for example, be sitting for long periods can negatively affect your body. That's one way to make them aware of the problem that your product is solving. Another angle is sitting at your desk may be contributing to your afternoon energy crash. That's a different concept, a different reason why somebody would buy the product or get aware of with the problem. And another one could be improving your workspace doesn't require completely redesigning your office. This is more of an opportunity one, right? You get the idea. You have multiple angles of ads that you put in this, and then you let Meta decide which one of those angles is going to perform best. You simply let Meta decide. Again, we're not smarter than Meta. Meta's going to take these concepts. You're going to have multiple headlines and primary text as well. And they're basically going to mix and match and find the best combination for this top of funnel ad, right? And run with it. Does that make sense? So I have an example of a high ticket meta ads agency for high ticket coaches, basically, right? I'm going to show you an example of top of funnel ads, right? I'm going to show you an example of middle of funnel ads and bottom of funnel ads so that you see how the team actually works together. Again, the top of funnel ad, if we go back to it, is designed to get attention into the funnel, right? We make them aware of the problem. And then we have middle of funnel ads that are educating them further. Now they understand their problem, but we have to educate them further on the mechanism that we have to solve that problem. And then the bottom of funnel ads are going to close the people that already know about the problem. They already understand the mechanism. They believe in it. Now we have to close them, right? Different team of ads that all work together with different concepts within each ad, each of these 5 to 8 ads, okay? Example for the meta ads agency. So high ticket coaches, if we want to make them aware of the problem, right, that our product is solving, we could have different concepts and different angles to go for with these high ticket coaches, right, to make them aware of the problem that they have and get them into our top of the funnel. So concept A or angle A could be relying only on organic means that you're going to have volatile traffic and volume, right? Basically, like high ticket coaches meta ads agency, there could be high ticket coaches that are only relying on organic, which is a big problem. Okay, by the way. And if you want to have more like consistent lead flow and volume, you have to run ads as well. That's one angle. Another angle could be low quality leads. These high ticket coaches think they're getting low quality leads, or beginners who don't really believe in that business model, whatever it is that they're coaching, right? Because content actually attracts leads at each awareness stage. You have no control over who you're attracting with your organic, right? And then concept C could be you don't have a business because if you stop posting, you stop making money. So these are 3 different angles that are all making them aware of the problem, but they're all distinct concepts. That's how we reach creative diversity, right? With different concepts and different formats, right? Another top of funnel ad could, for example, with different concepts, could be a static ad. That's how you also diversify by formats as well, right? By the way, right now I'm running free ads and funnel audits, right? There is no sales call required for you to get it. You're just going to give me some information about your funnel and your ads. I'm going to send you a free funnel audit. You can do whatever with it. It's free value. Okay, there is no call for you required to get it. So just check it out. It's the first link in the description, but let's continue with the video, right? This could be a top of funnel ad with different concepts and creatives. The second ad could be a middle of funnel content ad, right? In the middle of funnel content, we're basically trying to convince people who already know about the problem because we just made them aware, right? We're trying to convince people who already know about their problem that meta ads are the solution, right? So we can explain in different concepts that how paid ads, for example, can create more predictable flow of leads. That's one way we explain it. Concept B could, for example, be with meta ads, you can control who you target, and that's why you're only going to have the highest quality of leads because you can decide who you want to target and only target them, right? No beginners anymore. Concept C could be how meta ads funnels actually works and why. Right? Basically, you have different concepts, again, making them, they already are aware of the problem. Now we're explaining the mechanism and why the solution works. Okay. A bottom of funnel ad then could be, again, this is a sequence. Meta is going to, let's say they see a top of funnel ad, right? They see a top of funnel ads where we're making them aware of the problem. They engage with our ad. Meta sees that, right? And it works in a sequence. Now that they see that they engage with the ad, they're going to look at your other ads that you give them, and they're going to try and find the best ad to show them next in order to push them further down the funnel, closer to the conversion. So if we just made them aware of the problem, Meta's going to see, okay, this next ad, for example, is educating them further on the problem, okay? Or making them aware of the mechanism, whatever it might be. They're going to show your next middle of funnel ad. That's how it works. Meta is going to understand what they're working with because you only give them 5 to 8 ads, not 50 million, right? They have they can just analyze which sequence of ads to show to your prospects in order to get them to convert, right? And then a bottom of funnel ad, now they're aware of the problem, they understand the mechanism, just give them a straight offer. So we could have a straight offer UGC video, could also have static ads, right? Different formats and different concepts, okay? And then once they see that bottom of funnel ad where we give them a straight offer, they could, for example, be in a state where, okay, they understand the problem, they understand the mechanism, they now understand, okay, maybe I should go with somebody to do this for me, but they're still on the fence. So we show them another ad, which could, for example, be the second bottom of funnel ad, which could have different concepts again. A case study could be one concept. We could also explain exactly how the agency is going to handle strategy, creatives, all of that stuff. Another concept could be a guarantee-led offer ad to get them over the fence and get them to book a call, convert, whatever, right? Again, that's how it works. That's how you can still create creative diversity while still having a limited pool of ads that Meta can actually go ahead and find the best sequence with, right? To show your prospects to push them further down the funnel. It's a team of ads, right? Your top of funnel basically is going to make them aware of the problem. They're going to think, okay, I have this problem. Okay, another top of funnel ad could, for example, be, I have a great opportunity in front of me, whatever. There is no fixed thing to do this. This is just an example. And then the middle of funnel, once they understand I have this problem, they could think, okay, Meta ads could actually solve it. It makes sense. Now, after seeing the straight offer ad, for example, they could believe, I want somebody to do this for me, but I'm not really sure yet. And then the bottom of funnel, the second bottom of funnel ad could be, could make them feel, okay, I should choose them because we have a full guarantee that we let the ad with, right? Does that make sense? So you're basically going to have one campaign, one ad set, a team of ads that all work together. Okay, the top of funnel gets awareness, and then the bottom of funnel closes. You get the idea. You don't have 30 random ads anymore that are all doing the same job. You have no idea what you're optimizing. You have no idea why it worked, what didn't work, and then you're just going to mess up the sequence learning. You're going to have ad fatigue, right? It's just a mess. Don't do it. This is a much simpler setup, and it makes much more sense if you actually think about it. Okay, now, how do we actually scale it, and how do we do creative testing, right? We look at multiple numbers, or obviously you can look at profit as well and AOV, right? But these are the numbers. If you look at them, the spend, CPM, cost per result, and frequency, you're basically you want to, the goal here, once you're scaling, first of all, once you have this and you can put more money into it and it's more profitable, scale it. Okay, scale this funnel until it's not even more, not more profitable once you put more money into it. At some point, you're gonna find a point where you're like, okay, now I'm putting more money into it, but it's not making me more profit. Let me find the weakest link of this team, right? The weakest ad right here that is not doing its job pretty well, and let me replace it. Let me test against that weak ad and replace it, right, with a better ad, and then we can scale again, and then it's gonna have, you're continuously gonna keep testing, right? With the 30 ads campaign setup, not possible. Literally not possible. You have no idea. You just hope and pray. You get the idea, right? This is much better for creative testing. So how am I going to determine whether or not an ad is going to do well or not, is doing well or not? Okay, so if I look at these numbers right here, spend, for example, if the ad is getting spent, that's actually usually a good sign, because that means that the ad is actually winning auctions, right? Meta's trying to push that ad. But spend alone is not going to tell us anything, right? Then we look at CPM, for example. If we have low CPMs, that usually means that we're reaching a colder, top of funnel, broad audience, right? Which is what I'm expecting with top of funnel ads, for example. With bottom of funnel ads, I'm expecting a higher CPM because I'm reaching a more expensive pocket of people that is also usually limited. Frequency, if you have low frequency, right, your ads are not, the same person is not seeing your ad multiple times a day, that usually means that you have a top of funnel ad. If you have a high daily frequency, that usually means that the same person is sees the ad multiple times a day, which is an indicator for the fact that your ad is further down the funnel, right? And then the cost per result, obviously, with the top of funnel ads, I'm usually expecting a higher than average cost per result because I'm reaching colder, less aware audiences. And then with a bottom of funnel ad, I'm usually expecting a lower than average cost per result. Does that make sense? So I'm looking at all of these numbers right here, and yeah, compare them to each other, relate them to each other, and then I'm going to understand, okay, where in the funnel is my ad sitting, right? And is it doing a great job? So now let me give you an example of an ad that is not doing its job great, okay? So I'm searching for the weak point right here. For example, the bottom of funnel ad, I'm usually expecting lower than average cost per result, right? Because it's a bottom of funnel straight offer ad, for example. Relatively speaking, it should have a lower cost per result because it's speaking to more aware people, right? But let's say my bottom of funnel ad has a high CPM, which is expected, a high frequency, which is also expected, a low spend, which is also expected because it's reaching less people, right? It can't spend too much on it. But instead of having a low CPR, it has a very high, higher than average cost per result, right? Maybe let's say the bottom of funnel ad has all of these numbers right here and also a higher cost per result than the top of funnel ads, which is not a good thing. This shows you that the bottom of funnel ad is not performing well. Okay, so what do? We test against it, right? This analysis right here works for everything. You just have to analyze and understand these numbers. I'm going to make a video on creative testing soon, right? But basically you found your weak link, which could be the bottom of funnel ad. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a new ad set with one creative in it, right? Remember, this is CBO, right? So you're going to put that new, you're going to test against this bottom of funnel ad. You're going to create new ones. You're going to have a new ad with multiple creatives and concepts in that test ad set. Now you're going to let Meta reallocate spend. Right, so what you want to happen is Meta to take spend away from that old bottom of funnel ad, for example, and reallocate it to that new one because it's performing better. It earns the spend, and now you have all of the stuff: high CPM, still lower spend, high frequency. But now you have a lower than average cost per result. You lowered your cost per result, which you determined as like the reason why this ad is not performing well. Now you have tested against it. You found a better ad. So what you're going to do is you're going to remove this right here and just introduce that winning ad into the control ad set. Now this is your new control. You scale it again. You're going to find a point where you're not scaling more profitably anymore. So you're going to test against it again. You're going to find the weak ad. You're going to test against it, and you keep doing it. That's what most companies are doing in the high ticket space. I mean, check out Hyros, for example. If you go to their ads manager, you're gonna see a similar setup. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, we're also right now running free ads and funnel audits. It's gonna be the first link in the description. You can just check it out. I'm gonna ask you for a couple of things about your funnel and your ads to actually give you a valuable funnel audit, right? And there is no call for you required to get it. Okay, I'm just gonna analyze your account as if it was my own one. Right, I'm going to search for problems and opportunities. I'm going to make a video for you, a whole breakdown, and send it to your email and your phone number. You can do whatever with it. If afterwards you want to work with my agency to go ahead and scale your high ticket offer, obviously you can do that, but that's not a requirement. So go ahead and get your free funnel audit. And other than that, I appreciate you watching the video. I'm going to see you in the next one. Peace.